Hi, I'm Sam Flying Kite, and welcome to the Horror Show. This week, with kind of my beautiful wife.
Hi.
Good boy.
Who's a good boy?
It came out in 2025. It's PG-13 and a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, and a little over an hour long. Its budget was $70,000, and it got about 8.7 million in the box office. Ben Leonberg is the director. Indy, the dog, plays Indy. Jensen plays Todd. Arielle Friedman plays Vera. Larry Fessenden plays Grandpa. And there's a few other actors and whatnot in it. And the movie is about a loyal dog. A loyal dog moves to a rural family home with his owner, Todd, only to discover supernatural forces lurking in the shadows. As dark entities threaten his human companion, the brave pup must fight to protect the one he loves most. And I thought this was a really nice movie, very similar to how definitely a bit of an experiment, similar to how In a Violent Nature is a bit of an experiment. And I thought this movie did a really good job at being said experiment. The director apparently got the idea for this movie from watching the original Poltergeist, because in that movie, I don't know, have you ever seen that before?
Poltergeist?
Yeah, the original from the 82 or whatever.
Can't say I have.
Well, in that movie, it's about this family, and then the supernatural entities in the house take the daughter, and so the family is trying to get the daughter back. Well, in the movie, the very first thing that notices weird things going on is the dog. So he got the idea for this kind of movie from that concept of, what if we made a Poltergeist but from the dog's point of view kind of thing. So that's kind of interesting. And I was saying earlier that I really would love to listen to a commentary of this sometime about how they got the dog to do stuff, because dog is an actor in this movie. They must have given him a million treats. But there is a commentary on this release of it from with the director and the producer, Carrie Fisher, who's, I don't think that's the same Carrie Fisher that plays Princess Leia. This is a different Carrie Fisher. But this is the Shudder release of it. It's $10-15 at Walmart, if it's still there, or you can just buy it online. There's a few other things on the special features, but as I was saying earlier, I thought this movie was really good, and I think the best thing about this movie is, the bestest of boys. The dog, technically there's two dogs in the movie, but one of the dogs is a ghost dog. And, it's thought it was a person for a second. No, it's actually a dog doing the stuff the dog's doing, and dog does a great job at, being a dog in a horror movie. And it's a smart dog too, good dog.
A good boy.
A good boy. The atmosphere is really nice and good, where there's a lot of things going on in the background. Kind of similar to In a Violent Nature, but more so in this than in that. And then, this movie being what it is, and then being a short runtime. It's an hour and 12 minutes, right? It's shorter than some old Universal monster movies. And, that's perfectly fine if you have a great story. Because, if a movie like Skinamarink was, an hour and 12, it's probably a really good movie. But since it wanted to be 2 hours long, or almost 2 hours long, it's a very boring movie. That's another experiment movie. Lots of shots in, corners, and the only way to know what's going on is if you're paying attention and listening to, basically the background. The worst thing about this movie is probably just Todd, but you could play devil's advocate about him and his character in the movie. It's just as the movie goes more and more and more,
He's just really stupid.
But, it just comes down to he's someone that from the very beginning of the movie is struggling with something, probably some kind of drug addiction, and that's messing him up and getting him to get like cancer or leukemia or something like that. So he's like in a really bad place, moves to his grandpa's house that his grandpa's dead and it's been dead for some time. And it's a kind of fresh start in that sense of like, I'm, moving somewhere that maybe something, can start changing for good. And so when weird things start happening, of course it's going to be like, no, that's not an entity over there. That's just the wind or something, because add another problem to his life. But then how he treats the dog sometimes, that's a bit of a like, I don't think he ever like, he doesn't like mistreat it. There's like maybe one or two scenes where he like pushes the dog off of him, which is like, that's just sad when that happens. But yeah, Todd's just a very like person who probably put himself in that position. But then again, I suppose we don't really know how his grandpa died, because apparently his grandpa died a pretty bad death, apparently. So maybe it's not even like he's going through stuff. Maybe it's just a family thing. And I feel like there's a lot of dialogue in this movie that kind of points to a kind of cycle. Not like him in a constant cycle, but more of like his what's happening to him happened to his grandpa. And who knows, how long that was before that. Because his grandpa had a dog too, and kind of seemingly it's when Indy kind of has these little dream moments or just visions of sorts where it sees a lot of weird stuff, but kind of specifically sees like stuff that happened before. So like with the ghost dog who had a handkerchief or a bandana, and see the grandpa, and it's like, oh, maybe there's like, I guess, 3 different ways you could view this movie. One is that it's a supernatural movie where there's actual supernatural entities, which is probably like what the director is like intending. It is, it is a supernatural movie. The second being kind of like, I guess the second and the third one are more of kind of just, they're like about the same kind of way of viewing it, but just like slightly different. And it's just the idea that it's not really like a supernatural thing, but it's more of just, say, the dog. How did you describe it earlier? Well, I was describing it, but you put it in a good way.
The looming concept of death.
Yeah, so dogs can feel and sense things that we can't. If you have something going on in you, and you have a dog that is your dog and loves you, it's probably going to be a lot more like lovey-dovey on you, or maybe a little more whimpering because it knows that like, oh, something's wrong with you. And so in this movie, now that's where it's like the supernatural thing is kind of, I don't know, because the very first shot of the movie is in this apartment that Todd lives in, and you see like something in the corner of the room, and then it's not there. So it feels like this supernatural thing, if it is a supernatural thing, has been kind of haunting him for some time. But that's where I'm kind of more just thinking that it's not supernatural. It's just he is probably doing something, some kind of drug, and it's messing up his body, and now he's got leukemia or cancer, and that's just making it worse, but bringing him closer and closer to death. And so like, that's why like throughout the movie you see more and more of like this thing, and then when you like see it, you see its face, and you see its its face as a skull at least at the very end of the movie, and then it kind of like consumes him a bit, and then so I guess that's kind of just my thought. It's more of, that's the dog's point of view, kind of like seeing this energy of sorts, and that's how it's viewing what's happening to him, that he's just dying slowly. But then of course there is the supernatural element, and then what happened to his grandpa and whatnot. So like, I think maybe 2 things could be true, maybe, for this one. But, anyway. I'm Sam.
And Lily.
I'm Sam Flying Kite. This is Lily, my beautiful wife.
Or Purple Honey.
And that's her YouTube channel, Purple Honey. If you ever want to check it out.
You totally should. I don't post much.
This is a good boy. Honestly, after watching the movie, kind of made me want to have a good boy myself. Because he's so cute in the movie.
He's a good boy.
But can't quite do that now. Maybe whenever we have our own place.
Yeah.
And really good movie that people should definitely check out if they haven't already. And given that it's also an hour and 12 minutes, yeah, you should go and watch the movie.
Very easy watch.
Yeah.
Coming from someone with medicated ADHD and didn't take their meds when they watched it.
Yeah. Go watch it if you haven't, and I'll see y'all next week. Goodbye.